Yeah.
Is there a miles that you're okay with tomorrow?
He's going to try to give it a go, I think. I mean, seemed like he was good. I just, about 11 seconds ago, got the word from Mark that he felt pretty good today. So he'll be available. We'll see what that looks like.
And two, you said last press conference that sometimes you mentioned championship scenarios.
Yeah.
Have you guys talked about it?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, a little bit for sure. We talked about the position that we have found ourselves in, that we've clawed and scrapped and fought to be in. And they deserve to be in this position with 2 games to go. And so at some point there are too many games ahead of you to talk about what's ahead of you. And I think we're to the point where they can do that. So it's exciting for them. They're excited about it, and I'm looking forward to see how they respond to it tomorrow.
You talk so much, at Knoxville, kind of about breaking the game down, breaking the plan down for attacking these guys. Do you kind of try to go with that again this time around, or do you change it up at all?
Well, we did look at a couple of things just because, Connect had 39 points the other day on a fairly efficient day. So we looked at a couple of things. At the same time, we held them 59 points, I think it was, in the first game on their home court. So, I don't want to bank on being able to do that again. So we prepared for some other things, but our bread and butter is what it is. It is to sit down in the stands, try really hard to execute our principles and communicate and cover up for one another and fight really hard and then rebound it. That's our plan, and that'll be our bread and butter tomorrow. And then, if something else goes, we've done 1-3-1 before. We've double teamed in the post before. A couple things we may look at if we feel like we need to, just to change up the flow. But it'll be business as usual in our original game plan.
If Dibba not playing this November, played twice last week, when did you kind of know he'd be ready, and what kind of impact did he have at this stage?
Yeah, he told me a couple games ago, and so you don't know. I mean, he's a reliable guy. I think he's pretty predictable in terms of our rules and knowing what he's going to do when he gets out there. Fairly predictable that way, and I say that as a compliment because he's paid attention to what the rules are. He's paid attention to what he's supposed to do in each scenario that presents itself, and so I think that reliability has some real merit, and that's why he's been able to get in a couple games since he's been back.
How have you seen Michi grow as a player and as a leader this season?
I'll tell you, the biggest growth is when you have a couple struggles and you still find a way to contribute to your team in a major way that affects the outcome of the game. And he's been able to do that. And sometimes it's obvious to see when he throws 25 points up, 22 in the second, 21 in the second half, whatever that was. It's easy to see those contributions, but he's had plenty of other games, and you guys are the ones that asked me, well, what's up with Michi when he only goes 1 for 11 in a game that we win, and someone else had a good game? And I get it. That's what someone's supposed to ask because they're surprised that he's not doing what he's done in other games, but we got other guys, and he's able to make an impact in a lot of different ways. And he's clearly an explosive guy, and he was in our last game, and we like him to be explosive. We're really good and better when he's explosive like that, but we don't need him to be explosive for us to be able to get done what we need to get done on any particular day.
How important was that win over Tennessee as far as giving the guys confidence that they could be a championship contender, but also help them to bounce back from some tough moments?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of playing them again, we showed some film on some of the things that we did that we had success with. We showed some other things that we can do better. I think there are a lot of reasons why our guys will be confident going into the game. One of which is probably that we've played well against them before, but since that day has happened, we've also achieved a lot of things. We've had some really tough other road games. We've come off of a 2-game loss to turn into 3-game wins after that. There have been a lot of things that have really built up a true sense of confidence for these guys, and it won't stem from just the fact that we beat Tennessee in one particular game. I think they'll look back on their whole total body of work, and that will inspire true confidence.
Just was curious if you could touch on the seniors that'll be walking on Wednesday and what they've meant to this team and what they've meant to you as a
Yeah, senior day is always a fun day. It's always exciting, and it's always fairly emotional. I remember I used to think that when there were one-year guys, they're like, well, what could you on one-year guy on a senior day? But you know, it's amazing how close you can get to some of these guys and being around them for 1 year. Actually, less than probably a full calendar year. So there'll be a lot of emotions. They'll be excited. There'll be some families here and whatnot. But we have a really good group of older guys in their last year of eligibility, and couldn't be happier and more proud of what they've accomplished and more excited for what's still out there for them. I think those guys have been the foundation of us being able to build what we've built here quickly. It really added to it. We had some other guys that were here last year that stayed. But I think adding the right older guys, particularly one-year guys, has been a tremendous help for us, and it's really helped us establish what our culture is.
What were you?
Just with those 3 guys walking through some-
Yeah, I think so. I hate to say something right now. They don't tell me anything until about an hour before the game, but I think it's only those 3 guys.
In the portal, what do you look for in a 1-year transfer? Is there anything different, especially the guys who've had 2 previous stops?
Yeah, that's a really good question. One thing is the role that this is really honestly with any transfer in my mind, but certainly the one-year guys. The role that they want to play, I have to have that role available. Otherwise, it's a bad mismatch. It's not going to work. They can't want to play 40 minutes a game, 38 minutes a game, or else, and I've only got at their position 9 minutes a game. It's not going to work. So I think that's the first thing. And then 2, I think a sense of you get to a lot of, you see it in professional sports too. Guys will make trades or take less money to go to a place where they can win. Maybe they haven't won in their career. So I think it's invaluable and critical that the guys that are coming here in 1-year scenarios, that they've figured out what their commitment to winning is and whatever their role can be in that. I think that's another important one. And then just generally good people. It's a huge part of why we're able to do what we're doing is because of the interior makeup of our guys. I don't want to downplay that at all. So the guys we brought in are super high quality, high character guys that I anticipate remaining into contact with for a long, long time.
To follow up on that, how do you sell to a guy like BJ and Lamont that you can win after what the first year looked like?
Yeah, it's hard. It can be challenging. It can be challenging, but it really boils down to that's why relationships are so important in this whole process. So they look at it at face value. What are they looking for, and what is my opportunity? I think that probably is the first thing when you're talking about trying to sell a vision of what winning will look like. Then you start talking about your track record, the things that you've done, stylistically, differences that you want to see in how you're playing now versus how you were playing before, and how they allow you to do those things, and how those things have led to winning at a high level. But certainly it's more challenging than it will be to look back in this recruiting cycle and say, hey guys, this is what we do. You can see for your eyes what has been done here, the kind of guys that we do it with. It seems like you fit right into what we do. Are you interested in coming here? I think that's an easier sell, but that's also why you hire good assistant coaches. That's what they're paid to do. Give me good players.
You said on Saturday that the regular season title is the hardest thing to win in the sport. In your mind, from doing it in Wisconsin, Chattanooga, what does that accomplishment actually represent? What does it mean, not just to a team, but to a program?
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack in that question, honestly, but it says a lot about, one, how good your team is as a team. Because no matter how talented you are, throughout the course of the league, you're going to have guys that don't play well on one particular day. You're going to have a team whose system is not a bad matchup for your system. There are a lot of reasons that you're going to be in a tough position to win any particular basketball game. So you have to be a good team. You have to be resilient. I think it says a lot about that about a team. But for a program, even to be where we are, certainly if you can finish it off and get a championship, I think it's just there have been a significant number of milestones that we've achieved this year. Plenty. One of which was having a winning season in general. Think about that. When we hit the 16th win, or when we hit the 12th win, it was like you're going to win more games this year than last year. 5 conference wins was a significant milestone. Think about how crazy that thinks that was a goal at one point for us, right? A winning conference record, double figures in conference games, 5 road wins, a winning road record in conference games. So many milestones that have been accomplished and achieved when you're talking about what's this program going to be about. Substance matters. What are you going to look back and say we actually did and got accomplished and move forward with those? And I think it would all culminate. The NCAA tournament, there's one, another huge one, really important one. And then I think it would all culminate if you would be at the top of the proverbial mountain if you were to win a conference championship team.
I'm curious to know, we've talked a lot about what it means for the players and what it means to kind of prepare them for a regular season championship. I was curious, what about your coaching staff, the people that you brought here with you and have experienced kind of the last 3-4 years? What does it mean for you guys to be able to kind of reflect and be like, wow, we created this?
Yes, it's a level of satisfaction and fulfillment that is hard to describe. We had a rough season last year. There are ups and downs in every season. You could go undefeated, and there are going to be moments where you look at yourself and say, "What am I doing?" But certainly, when you have a team, a record like last year, a season like last year, there's nothing more rewarding, fulfilling, and the level of satisfaction you can get for being able to produce something like this is, and it's not just the wins and losses. We notice it when we go to the grocery store, or sometimes if I'm going to be on the phone for 15 minutes on a call, I'll go try to get a couple steps in outside, and the UPS man will be beeping and waving and spurs up. So those are the things really when you think about what your impact has been. It's not the wins and losses are what it is, but the impact that you can have on a whole community, on a university, on a fan base, on a student body, that's impactful in terms of just overall fulfillment in what you're doing.
Come along those lines, I know Coach can't look too far ahead. You got 2 regular season games in the NCAA tournament, but at this point, you know this team is going to be in the NCAAs. And yeah, right. Fingers crossed. And you've been there before in situations like that. Say in Wisconsin, I'm sure towards the end of the season you knew, but at Chattanooga you had to win the tournament in order to go. Yeah. So between now and then, knowing that that's coming, what's your process like with these guys to get them not just prepared for the game to game, but getting prepared for the long run?
Yeah, I think one thing, there's just an overall sense of relief, particularly there's a lot of angst with any Division I program trying to make the NCAA tournament. Then you start talking about how rarely that's happened at this program. Then you start talking about the kind of season that you've had and what it might mean if somehow you don't make the tournament after you've had such a good, and the excitement is there for everything, and then you don't make it. So I think the biggest is a feeling of relief for the guys, and because of that, you can really let your hair down. We talk about playing relaxed all the time. It's just one less thing that guys are internalizing. Is what the postseason looks like and the outcome based on what this is. And so I think it allows us to play a little more freely. And in reality, we're not doing anything in preparation for what the postseason is. We're really focused on trying to win a conference championship, and that starts with tomorrow's game against Tennessee. But it's nice to be in a position where, again, fingers crossed, you feel pretty confident that on Selection Sunday they're going to call your guys' names, and there's going to be a level of jubilation that these guys have probably not experienced possibly in their lives as it pertains to